Hello, hello, it's Carrie, So Much Glitter. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you guys are here. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell so you are notified when I come out with new videos. So if you guys would like to come on in around the craft table into my craft room, grab your favorite snack, a favorite drink, and let's relax and get crafty. Today I'm going to do my craft roulette card, and I am going to show you guys what the parameters are. So what I do is I log on to craft roulette. I have a spare cell phone from my son lived with me, so I kind of put a lot of my crafty stuff on this. So this is my public profile channel on craft roulette. I logged on, and since I am a member, I do have until Thursday, which is tomorrow, because today is Wednesday. And you can do surveys and vetoes. There's bonus challenge. There's updates for the blog. So I just go down here to submit a contribution. Now the public submissions is closed. I am aware of that, because if you're not a member on craftroulette.com, you have until Sunday at midnight, I believe. Oh, at 9:59 Pacific Standard Time. So I'm Pacific Standard Time. Anyway, and so member exclusive is open until Thursday at 10 Pacific Standard Time. So that is midnight where Mary is. I believe she's 2 hours ahead of me. So I'm going to go down here and submit as a member. I'm going to stop doing the math for the day. It's been a long day. So then it pops up the latest video, and if you do click on it, it'll take you right to the YouTube video. And she had Tracy Fear on, which is T. I've watched a few of her videos, so I do appreciate her honesty and her creativity. That's a lot of fun. So this is episode 285. So the project is a square card. The colors are the dairy aisle. The element is leaves, and the random is hexagon. So I'm going to remember that, and I'm going to set my phone aside. And then I'm going to go ahead and get creating. So I decided to do a 5 by 5 square card, and I'm just going to kind of measure it just to make sure that I did the dimensions correctly. I didn't do a 6 by 6 because I don't want to mail it like in a different envelope if I ever do have to mail it. I made 2 different card bases just because I never make one. I have one for my stash. This one I didn't do as neat. I just folded the 8.5 by 11 piece of paper in half. I didn't even score it. I just took my bone folder and had at it, folded it, and it's a little bit wrinkled. And then I cut it down to the 5 by 5. I went a little bit more technical with this one, but this one went a little bit wonky because I did score it a little bit off. So I used the 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. I trimmed it down to make a 10 by 5 is what I did. I scored it at 5 inches. I used my bone folder, and then I folded it over. I did score it just a little bit off, so my card's a little bit wonky, if you can see. That happens every once in a while. You can trim it off, you know, do whatever. So you could, make your card base however it's going to work for you. But I'm going to put the wonky one in my stash. So I have another card available. And I'm going to go through the supplies that I'm going to use today. I hadn't really been thinking about this a whole lot. I completely forgot that tomorrow was Thursday. This week has been so long, I feel like it's a perpetual Monday. So I am going to get out some of my holographic paper, and I've decided I want to use some fall type colors, and I don't know which one of these I want to use, so that's to be determined. The random is the hexagon. I didn't know what I wanted to use until I remembered I had these sketchbook floozy stencils by Lindsay Wyrick in my stash. So I did get this last year from Craft Stash, and I don't know if they're still available, to be honest with you, but I did get that there. Their shipping's fairly reasonable. I don't know now with the tariffs what it's going to be like, because this is a company in Europe. So I did get this. She uses it more for her sketchbooks and for her drawings and her paintings. I like to use it for different elements in my card making, and sometimes to give myself a frame on my cards and to put a stamped image in there and do that sort of thing. I had a hexagon one. So I got my hexagons. And I had some pieces left over from Sala's, which is Card Times Ahead, newest digital kit. And I don't think it's the newest right now, but it's on her Ko-fi shop, and I'll go ahead and link that below. But I did already make a card with this in one of my last videos. So if you want to go look at that, you can see the full kit that I did print out. But I do have things left over that I want to utilize, because I really, really like this kit. I just think it's perfect fall, perfect cozy. I love the butterflies. I love the Hello Fall mug. I just love everything about it. This is my favorite time of the year. I know I do live in Southern California and I live in San Diego, so it's also one of the warmest times of the year here sometimes. But it is my most favorite time of the year because it is a lead up to all of the fun holidays. I love all the fall festivities. I love the smells. I love Halloween. I love decorating for it. So I did have this paper pack that I recently purchased from Michael's, and all of these Craftsmith paper packs were $4.99, and so I could not resist this one, and I hope I can fit it on here and just kind of do like a quick flip through. I love all the textures and the different dimensions that Michael's is doing with their papers now. I really do see them starting to step it up since Joann's left us. So I think that that is really nice. They're expanding things in the store. I thought this would be perfect for a card front. I did measure these. These are a 6x6, so I'm going to have to trim it down a little bit. And if you want to go take a look at this, go to your local Michael's and start flipping through those. So what I'm going to do is trim this down. I didn't know which one I wanted to do for sure, but let's see. The colors were the dairy aisle, right? So what's along the dairy aisle? We've got milk, we've got cheese, we've got all sorts of different goodies. So I really thought like any of this would fit in perfectly, but I want to utilize this because I love the leaves. This is going to be the leaves on my my card. I wanted to utilize that with the blue background. I just thought that it was so perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim this down right on the line. And I'm going to sink my blade in the middle and go up and down. That's how I figured out this trimmer works best. It has its own little sweet spot. When I do that, nothing gets snagged. If I do it the other way, things get snagged a little bit. I probably do need to change my blade. I do have some extras. I did not trim that right on the line, but you know what? No worries, because remember, we have to trim it down anyway. So I need to make this a 5x5. If I want to make this a little bit of a border, I can, and I can trim it down just slightly under to whatever I want the border is. The standard is normally like 1/8 of an inch, but sometimes I find that that gives me too small of a border. But with this one, I'm just going to butt it right up to the edge and fill the whole card up with this beautiful background. I'm going to get as many of these leaves in here as I can, so Deputy Heidi knows that I fulfilled my obligation with all of the parameters. Okay. The hexagon's going to be a little bit trickier because that's going to be a little bit more fussy cutting for me, but we're going to do it. We're going to wing it. We're going to make it and survive. So this is how the card is going to look. I used the craft cardstock just because I thought it was perfect for the fall season. I'm going to decorate the card front first before I glue it on my card base. Okay. So let's start out with the hexagon because that's our random. And I did kind of try to place it on here a little bit just to see like, how do I want this? I want you to be able to see that it's a hexagon, but I want it to have like a fun little flare too. So I thought like overlapping them would be really cute, and I'm doing it in one of the golds. I just can't decide if I wanted to do more of a matte cardstock gold or if I want to get real funky with it, and I want to do like the grid. This reminds me of like the old the old grid on the old computers back in the 80s. That's just what it reminds me of, or like that cartoon 8-bit. I think it's a cartoon. Anyway, I just thought that that was fun. So I thought maybe that would be a little bit more fun to zhuzh up the card a little bit. But I really do like this as well. I don't know. But because it's in my name, I love all of the glittery things. I'm going to go big and not go home today. I'm full of the fun puns, right? It's been a very long week at work. I've had lots of meetings. I've had a few trainings already. I have more meetings coming up. And then Friday comes in there somewhere. Please tell me Friday comes somewhere. I think I'm going to use this as my sentiment for a Hello Fall. And I think I want to prop it up right inside of here. And I think what I have with my leftover, my leftover space in here, I want to put one of the butterflies, because I think these butterflies are so, so pretty. But I love all of the goodness in here too. So I don't know if I need to throw a few pumpkins in here, which I probably do. So let's start out with this first. I'm going to get some washi tape that I have right on the side of me, just to hold these suckers in place. I'm not going to get out my pixie spray. I love my pixie spray, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to use some washi tape I have in my stash, and I think I'm just going to, oops, well, that wouldn't work if it was crooked. I mean, hey, I am me, so. And just kind of tack it down right here. And then I'm just going to trace the outside of it and then cut it. It's just going to be a very basic shape. I do not think a pencil will work on this paper. Oh, it might. With my vision, though, it might get a little bit lost. So I'm just going to kind of test it off to the side to see like what would be easier for me to follow. And because this is so busy, it really doesn't matter, but the pen makes a little bit of a bigger indent for me. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to trace this a few times. And if you really wanted to get fun with it, you could hollow this out and do like an X-Acto knife. See, now I get like distracted because it's the end of the day and my attention is just about done. And then I kind of forget where I left off because you can't really see on here. Like I said, it's really busy. This little 6x6, I think it's a 6x6 little paper pad, I did get at Joann's probably a few years ago. I have another one very similar to it that I did buy at Michael's a few months ago because they had a buy one, get one 50% off. So they're kind of, you can find them, and they're really nice to have in my stash. So there, my washi tape did take off the surface a little bit, so I'm gonna need to cover that up. But like I said, I think I want to put the butterfly inside of it, and I'm just gonna try the best I can, because I am not Hallmark, guys. I am not a machine. I am making my cards by hand with love and self-care and sanity for myself and definitely for others. I am perimenopausal, and if you know, you know. So I'm just going to cut it the best I can. Bet your bottom dollar it's not going to be even, but it's going to be the best that I can. And then that is the shape that I get. And then I'm just going to layer another one on top. I think I just want to layer it. It's not going to be like, I'm not going to like hollow it out or anything, but let me try to do it without the washi tape because I don't know if I can fully cover that up. And let's just pray I can hold it in space, and let's make sure I'm still in frame. Has everyone submitted a card on Craft Roulette before? If so, let me know what number you are on in the comments. I'm in the 40s, I believe. Oh, of course I moved it. Although I started out when they were on Patreon and not on their own website. So not all of mine migrated over, but I still claim, yes, you know, I need to switch it over because now I'm screwing it up. But I still claim the things that I've done. And I think I like missed the window when I was supposed to alert them. Because my information did get migrated over, but my submissions didn't. And I just kind of took a nap on that one, I guess. As I do when I get busy. So, you know, I'm sure you can relate. But yeah, let me know in the comments what submission number you're on. And hey, if you have not submitted a craft roulette card before, like, why not start? Go back and watch an old episode. Watch last week's episode. This week's episode is coming up on Friday on the Craft Roulette YouTube channel. And my time, it starts at like 4. And I think I didn't really measure this properly because I think this is split, but you know, it is what it is. My cat's making all sorts of noise in the background. If you hear something, that's what it is. She has a little mushroom tree that she plays with, and it has like fake grass on it, and it makes like a big loud scratching sound. So there's that. And then her litter box is next to it, so it could be one of those things. But I don't know, whatever. Oh, you know what I did? Like a bonehead, I made 2 of the same size. But you know what? This is going to be a happy accident for me because I wasn't really happy with how that turned out. So what? Because of the tape. So let's just hold that there. Let's find the other stencil, which is right here. And I don't even think I have space on this paper for, and I don't know if I have any more of this paper. Let's just be honest. So let's see how this is going to turn out. I do. I have another sheet of this, which is nice. Or there's this one too, but I like this one a little bit because it just reminds me of like retro, and it reminds me of like the glinting of the sun above because we have the sky up here or down here, whatever we're doing. But this is the one with the cut in it a little bit, but I'm just, you know what? Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's how I'm doing it. So everything's just going to kind of be in the background. I know I'm covering up that one leaf, but I'm not going to worry about it. I could do it like this, but then we start getting a little upside down, and I'm not going to get caught up too much in the weeds. I'm just going to get my pen back and get back to where I was going. And I hope I'm in frame for you. I'm trying to do better at the videos and be a little bit more mindful of like my angle, where my hands are, the lighting. You know, this is just a hobby for me, and this is a complete self-care journey for me. Crafting is my self-care. It's my sanity. It got me through one of the hardest times in my life, and I will forever be grateful to a few crafters that I've connected with for that, and I'll mourn the loss of one of them probably forever, and that's Melody Lane, because I really did get to know her. And she was a complete inspiration for me and just a positive light in the crafting community. And that's when I was really into my Cricut crafting. So yeah, I do this to take care of myself. I need, you know, I get busy. We all get busy. And I don't just like doing the day-to-day. Like, I don't like just getting by to get by and to get to Friday all the time, because I want to enjoy the stuff that's in between. So yeah, I do self-care things for myself. Of course, my grandson is at the forefront of that, but you know, when it's just me and time for myself, I do like to do things that I enjoy. So I craft, card making being the main craft that I do, and yeah, I'm on the whole sourdough journey, so that's definitely a journey. That's a big learning curve. My friend and I talked about that the other day. It's like making the sourdough loaf is like the Super Bowl, right? That's actual game day. The rest of it's fun. I love feeding my starter. It's just random weird. But I do love feeding her, and I've named her, and I love making like little discard recipes and all that. So as you can see, these do blend in a little bit together. So I'm just going to probably pop one up and then pop another layer up on that just to make it a little bit more fun. I want to use the Hello Fall. I definitely want to use the butterfly over here. And I think I want to use this butterfly too to put it somewhere up on the card. And I'm going to probably have a pumpkin or two involved in the situation because why not? So you could take out any of your fussy cutting scissors. What Sala did from Card Times Ahead is she outlined the image, and this is a digital image. So when you do order from her Ko-fi shop, it's not like a physical product, but it's a digital product that you can print at home. I did not print this whole kit. I didn't have use for the whole kit at the time. I knew that, but a few things really spoke to me from her kit, and I wanted to use them. And so I've been using the elements as much as I can for whatever project I have going on. So that's really nice. That's a really nice thing that you can do with the digital kits. You do not need to print the whole thing. Print what you're going to use and then keep on your computer what you think you're going to use later. So my fussy cutting isn't going to be the most perfect, but I really do enjoy fussy cutting. That's a form of this therapy. I'm going to ink this up. I left a little bit of white space in here. Not going to worry about that. I'm probably not going to use this leaf, so I'm just going to cut it right off. And I'm going to go ahead and trim up this butterfly, and there's a little bit of texture in the butterfly. I don't know if I'm going to be able to capture that with my not professional fussy cutting skills, but I'll try to capture as much movement in the wings as I can. But I am going to utilize the outline as much as I can too. One thing I did learn from I forgot who I learned it from. Just I'm drawing a blank now, but I did learn from one of the YouTube tutorials that I'd watched, and one of the people that I followed. I don't watch her as much anymore. But you can do one of two things with fussy cutting. May taught us that you could do the whole bubble cutting and then you could ink around it. I adopt that a lot. I adopt the whole inking process a lot, and it just makes the image stand out. It kind of covers up your imperfect cut lines. And then another YouTube creator did teach me that you can cut right up to the line as close as you can to get rid of all of that room for error. So it's just like, you know, you do you, find what works for you. I do a little bit of both. I always do the inking, unless if I forgot, which that's a big possibility in life too, that I'll forget things. But yeah, I do that. That's fun. This little squirrel on here is just too cute. These sweaters are so fun. I want to grab the pumpkins. I do fussy cut with these bigger Tim Holtz scissors. They're more comfortable for me. I don't get cramps in my hands. And I do have the cutter bees as well, and I do utilize those for the fine details. I just don't use them all of the time. So there's different pumpkins on here. I'm going to cut a few more out and decide where I want to place them. Okay, so I cut these pumpkins out. I decided I think I want to get a little bit of like that teal color in here, and I want, you know, two of the larger pumpkins is what I want. So I'm just going to kind of put this stuff off to the side. And this pumpkin doesn't have as much of a noticeable outline as the butterflies did. So it's just going to take a little bit of creativity on my part to decide how I want to cut that around. But since I already started the whole little bit of white space border. I think I'm going to keep with that and then just ink around it. And that's where I'm going to go with that. This one, it's a little bit more defined, this image. So if you guys haven't watched Craft Roulette before, why not? Like, check it out. I think I said it starts at, so I think Mary is in Kansas City, she said. So I think she's in Missouri. I don't know if she's in Missouri or Kansas City, to be honest, because I do know that there's two different ones, because I have a really good friend that has family over there. But they are 2 hours ahead of myself. So for me, it starts at like 4 o'clock, 4:15, and they do like the gallery, and then it kind of goes into the whole introduction of things, which is a lot of fun. Majority of the time during the whole gallery thing, I am driving home, so I do have it playing in the background. I'm not gonna lie. And I kind of utilize it as like a podcast because it's just fun. Something fun to look forward to. It signifies the end of my week. I do not always have time. There's construction going on in the background, so if you hear construction noise, that's what it is. But I do not always have time to submit the card, but I generally do watch. There's the whole chatterbox in the chat going on, and they are dedicated and they are speedy chatters. I cannot keep up with that chatterbox. It goes by so fast. So I do see a few people that frequent other lives and things that I go into. I say hi really quick, and then once it just starts speeding by, I'm out. I can't keep up. But I do watch, and I think it's a lot of fun. Just a fun way to kick off my weekend, and I make sure I don't do any homework that night. I save that all for like Saturday and just relax. A lot of the times, like, I'll get on the treadmill and watch it, or if I have something planned, I'll watch it the next day. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. I want to try to get as close to that as I can so there's not too much extra white space. So let's see here how I want to do this. Let's kind of place them all a little bit fun and wonky, and I can, you know, really make this butterfly look like she's going somewhere. Now I'm thinking like I'm too heavy over here, and I want another butterfly. This one's really cute. I really like that one, but I want another one, or I want one instead over here. I don't know. That one would be nice. It's on the edge, but that's a different looking one, so that would be fun too. Let's see what I pick. Okay, so I did pick this one, which is a little bit of a different color. And try to trim this down just a little bit because there's just a little bit too much white space. So just the beautiful fall colors we have going. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out the ink to start inking this. I could do like a darker brushed corduroy. There's a Funn Wild Honey. It might be a little bit too bright, but that might just be a little bit fun as well, because it'll go in with the gold and the leaves and all that. This would probably cover up a little bit more and make it stand out because it's dark. We have Walnut Stain, which for me is just going to be a little bit too dark. Or we have, let's get out, we have Tea Dye. I think that's going to be too light. I don't want that. I already know that. We have Rusty Hinge. That might be very nice. Brushed corduroy, which is always kind of the standard for what I do when I'm inking the edges of things because it pops really nice. Or now I'm looking at Wild Honey. I think I'm going to pick Rusty Hinge, to be perfectly honest with you. I like the orange. It's like a mix of Wild Honey and Brushed Corduroy, and that's where I want to go with this right now. I am going to get out my orange blending brush. And I'm just going to put some ink on here and start inking up the edges. And I just lightly do it. I don't, you know, go too crazy. I just want to kind of get the ink around the edges so you see that there's a little bit of color there. My intention isn't to fill in this whole white space. That's not what I'm intending to do. I just kind of want to cover up some of the cut edges, and I want to provide a highlight around it, if you will. So that's what I'm gonna do, but I kind of want to try to get it in the middle. And so then that's how that turns out. I'm gonna put a little bit more ink and just go for the next. And it just gives it just like a little bit of a softer feel if you're going for like that whole bubble cut look that May taught us how to do. And a little bit's gonna get on my pumpkin spice latte, but happy fall, y'all. It is no worries. There are no worries here. I'm gonna put a little bit in here just to kind of knock back some of that white space. Put a little bit more ink, and I'm just gonna keep going around until everything is highlighted how I want it. Just inking up the edges here. And however you choose to spread the ink is completely up to you. Like I do have some, like the dome daubers, I do have those. I find I like these brushes a little bit better, especially for blending backgrounds and stencils and things like that. I got this set on Amazon a few years ago. I've been thinking about getting like another set, but I do generally clean this these off when I'm done. They're always gonna kind of be stained. I have a microfiber cloth, or I have a stamp cleaner that is next to me in the basket where my inks are, and I just spritz it with water and kind of get it off that way. And then I don't really worry about like contaminating any of my other inks, like if I'm using different inks. The majority of the inks I use are Distress Oxides, but I do have a few collections of other inks. So as long as I clean everything off in between and it's dry, it's not an issue. It's, you know, as Tim Holtz would say, don't freak your freak. It's just, the contamination isn't like that. There's no, no real issues. So if you want to see that, I use this, just a stamp cleaner, and it's from Nuvo. I got this from scrapbook.com a few years ago. And I have one, I just did this for I wrote dry here and clean here, and I kind of always just use a different spot. When I clean off, and it's not going to clean it off perfectly, right? It's a little bit stained, but it's my orange, so everything in the orange family stays over here, and that'll stay wet, and I'll put it back up in my handy dandy holder, close that. We are done. That is a wrap. Okay, so let's get out the glue, and this is a white core. I could ink up the edge here. I'm not going to, because you can't really tell. But I am going to get out my ink, and I did not put the cap back on. So I'm going to try to do that now, because now I know it's going to be clogged. There. And I'll just try to get that needle in there and clean it out the best I can. I'm trying to use up all the glue that's in here, so I have two of these, because this was empty and this came with the Nuvo glue. It comes just like this, one empty, one filled, and I like my own choice of glue. But I'm trying to use up. Oh, I might have already used it up, to be honest with you, which would be great news. And so we're gonna have a glue-tastrophe, I can tell. Just gonna put this back on, put it back in its holster, and let's see what other glues I have. Let's see. I don't think I have enough in here. This is my standard. Oh, I do. Oh, I love this glue. It's the PVA Line Co glue. Absolutely freaking love it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna glue this kind of off to the side so we can see the leaves, we can see the background. It's a liquid glue, so we have a little bit of time in terms of where placement, where we want to place it. It dries clear. I'm just gonna wipe that off. And then I'm gonna pop this up because I don't want this glue directly down, and I'm gonna get out my foam tape. And if you've watched my videos before, I use the Parablescent Press World's Best Foam Tape. I really like how it releases. It's permanent, but it's not permanent until, you know, it gives you time so I can reposition it if I have to. I don't know if like the paper will let me necessarily, but I do know that the foam tape will let me. So I'm just gonna kind of pop this up, set this aside, put this down. There we go. So my goal is to go live. I'm kind of nervous to go live because I don't necessarily like set aside a whole lot of time for like my videos, and now I kind of want to do it like this because I want to cover up a little bit of this, or I want to use the gunky eraser. Oh, I don't want to use that. Now I have to cover it up. It took off some of the... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it up just like that. My Hello Fall is going to be in here. I wanted to pop that up another layer as well, but I'm not sure that that's where I still want to go with that. I kind of like where it's at without popping up and adding another layer, another dimensional layer, but I don't know. But yeah, so my goal is to go live, and I probably want to do that sooner rather than later, and kind of get to know the crafty community a little bit better. I'm really happy with the crafting community, and you know, there's a lot of kind, friendly people out here. We're all just trying to like get by and do things that we love and all of that. I'm not going to pop this up. I leave it, if I don't know, I'll leave it sitting there for like a second and I'll stare at it. So I like that it's really empowering, and it's us supporting each other with what we enjoy doing. I haven't seen, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say I haven't seen any negativity because, you know, we live in the world we live in. It just is what it is. But it's not like a regular, it's very rare that I've seen that. So it's always like people, really, it's just really positive. So, doing a channel of my own was a little bit scary, I'm not gonna lie. And then I was like, why am I doing this? But it's another form of self-care for me because it kind of holds me accountable to craft more, get into my craft room, play with my goodies, kind of spread my message of self-care through crafting. I work in mental health as a mental health counselor. I'm a supervisor for a community-based mental health agency, and mental health care workers and clients alike do not set enough time aside for self-care. We just don't. And I just think in a society as a whole, I don't think we do. And because I don't think in American society specifically right now, but even through like growing up, like I was born in the 70s, I grew up in the 80s. It was always like, what do you want to do with your future? Where do you see yourself? What's your 5-10-year plan? How do we get there? Hustle. But like, where is the message of like having a nice, fulfilling life and enjoying yourself along the way? There's not enough of that. And then I have a daughter. My youngest was a 2020 graduate, and you know, college was just thrusted upon everyone for like the last probably 15 years or more. Not so much when I graduated in the 90s, but because trade school was still a thing. But I really saw with those kids and her group of friends that it really made them take a pause, because they really then looked at the financial aspect of it. Always put your lid back on your glue. It will dry out. This will clog. This is no fun to unclog. So this has the needle on it. This is going to be perfect. So it really made them take pause, and it really made me, like, I was at a big change in my life at that time. I was ending a career. I was at a really bad point, and my marriage, quite frankly. And so I really dove into crafting to help me. And it made me take pause to be like, these kids don't even know what they want or what they enjoy, or, you know, they're going to have to pay all of this astronomical debt back for what? Do they even know that that's what they really want to do? They didn't even get to enjoy the full senior experience. And it just made me look at life a lot differently. And so when I got into my second career in mental health, I have always just taken that with me. Like, find something that you love, find something that you're passionate about, and go for it. Go get it. If it's, you know, visiting with your grandma on Sundays, if it's perusing TikTok to find new book recommendations, because, you know, book talk's a really big thing, and whatever it is, hiking, traveling, like, you know, make that happen for yourself. And that doesn't have to be your whole life. Not everything has to be for money, for pay. I don't have to sell my crafts, because then it just becomes like a job, and it becomes like, well, do I really want, you know, this isn't fun anymore. I have a due date. I have, you know, how much money am I going to make? How much money did I spend in supplies? And so I'm going to get off my soapbox and be done with it. But that's just, you know, it's just a real good thing to find something that you love. Take that pause for a moment and find what you want to do. And, you know, it doesn't have to be crafting, but for me, it is. And I love it. And other people love the things that I make, and it just becomes a real positive experience. So, and I'm not alone in that. And that's taught me a lot in the crafting community. And, so it's fun. It's fun to connect. We're all looking, you know, for a sense of community and a sense of belonging, and, you know, find that where you can, that's constructive for you. So let me look up on the phone. Let's see how we hit the parameters, right? I didn't want this to be such a long video. I probably talked your ear off. I do apologize. Okay, so the project was a square card. Check. Colors, dairy aisle. The leaves are like the color of cheese, right? So we have that. Check. The element is leaves. Leaves are in my background. The random is hexagon. See, I clicked on it just a little too hard. And it is going to play the video. So that's nice. Here's the project. Hexagon, square card, color of the dairy aisle. So the leaves are like the color of the cheese. Leaves. That's also what we said. I know I just reviewed this, but I have to like kind of tell myself at the same time. Yeah. Square card, dairy aisle, leaves, random. Perfect. Hello, fall. And I don't really put anything on the inside of the card until I know where it's going to, or unless if I'm just kind of creating something for bulk. But what I always do is I have a personalized stamp, and I have my ink. Craft-a-lanch, my inks fell. I have my VersaFine because this gets up like the fine details. And I just leave this on the block all the time, and I have a little shelf in front of me, and that's where I put it. And I have my little foam block here, which I believe I already said, and that just gets a nice image, and I hold it down for a second so the ink and the stamp and the paper can kind of marry up. And there we are. It's an original creation made just for you by So Much Glitter. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please give me a thumbs up, like, and share if you know somebody who would benefit from some crafty fun, or if I gave you some inspiration and you want to share that out and spread a little bit more kindness in the world, I would appreciate it. So let me know in the comments below if you'd look forward to me going live. The weekends is the most convenient time for me, but I can probably try to squeeze in during the week here and there, depending on my schedule and how many call-ins we get that day. But there we go. I hope you guys have a great day. Do something kind for yourself. Do some sort of self-care and spread some fun inspiration and maybe get a little bit creative too. Bye, guys.